I think everyone installed server. If not, so install it after this. Okay, someone came. Okay, look at here. First of all, I will tell something about work group and in a work group environment and domain environment. Okay, these are a PCs or in a network. For example, this is a PC names like a C1, C2, C3, C4 like that. Okay, here user is login. For example, user one. Here user is user two. Okay, in this PC, user three account. Like we created student one, student two, like that only. So see, this is a PC and this is a user, right? So for example, user one is logging to C1. So what happened? Okay, in C1, user one is trying to log in. Okay. So user one login. So what you will put a username, user one, and a password. So user one account and a password. Okay. So like this user, we have to write like this. Sorry, leave it like. So who will verify this username and password? Who is going to be verify the username and password? C1 only, right? Inside a C1, the user information stored like a user information and their password information stores in this system only. So user one is trying to log in, so username and password will be verified by this PC only. Okay, same thing. User 2 want to log into C2. So user 2 information and user 2 password information stored in this PC only. When they log in, so user 2 password. Then who will authenticate? So C2 system only authenticating. So each individual PC authenticate their users in their PC only. No centralized PC authentication. So user information stores in the PC and user authentication also done in the same PC only. Okay. For example, here user one want to log in. User one want to log in with his password. And C3 will verify is user one is there in my PC? No, means no authentication. No authentication, no login like that. Okay. So user one is belongs to this PC and he said he want to log into this PC. He cannot log in. So why? Because this user information is not available in this PC. Okay. So that is here in the work group. Of course, you may get a doubt here in a share folders and printer access, share printer accessing. So we are having a folder here, and when you are trying to access this one, what you are putting slash slash IP address of this one, then it is asking username. We are giving this username only. You see, this is for example user one. This is user two. We are giving user one and password in this PC. So what will happen? The request is sent to this PC and verify username and password, and it will get authenticated. Then access permission we are getting. So through access a network resources, of course we are using username and password, but that time we have to tell this user one is belongs to this PC using a IP address or a name like this, like this. C1 slash U1. It means user one is belongs to C1 PC. Okay, C1's the user one account information in C1, user one account information in C1, C2 slash U2. It means U2 information located in C2 and authenticated by C2 only. So this is I understand. Okay. So this is like a old style account access, but still working type only. So try to understand. So C1 slash U1 means C1 is a computer name, U1 is a user name. C2 and user 2. So it means C2 is a computer name, U2 is a user name. So when you access through network, compulsory we should give system name and here. If in case you don't have a DNS, by name it is not understanding, no problem. So you have to give C1's IP address slash U1. Okay, C1's IP address slash U1. So what is that meaning? So for example, C2 means user to try to access C1 shared file or a printer like that. So while you are accessing, so it will ask authentication. So we will give like this here. Okay, here we will give like this. So first point of understanding work group and domain. So what is a work group? Work group is a if PC is in work group, if your PC is in work group, the user administrator account will authentic the users in the PC will authenticated by that PC only. User information stores in that PC only. User information also stores in that PC only. Okay, and your user is getting authenticated in that PC. User information stores in that PC only. When you are accessing a different PC through network, then we have to tell your PC name and username, and then we have to give the password. Okay, like this part we done already in shared folder access time. Okay, instead of using name, we use a IP address. So this meaning is important. That is C1 slash U1 means C1 is a computer inside a computer. So U1 account is there, and you are giving authentication means U1's password. If you give, then you got authenticated. So this is first point of work group. Second one, for example, for example, this user one want to log into this user 3. So user 1 in a C1 user account is try to log into C3 PC. Okay, so he cannot log in, he cannot log in. Okay, so he's trying to log in here, user 1, and he put a password and he cannot log in. Why he cannot log in? Because this information is not here. Okay, this information not stored in C3 PC, so user cannot log into other PC. Just for example, um, I have a PCs. For example, I have a something around 50 PCs are there. All are working good. So I have a 50 users. For example, I have a 50 users. 50 PCs are there. 50 PCs and PC 50 users are there. So each one having their one account. Now what happened? What happened? One PC is down. One PC, something like a PC number 25 is down. PC is not working. Now user came to office and so morning he went to office. Is check it. The PC is not working and he has to do some work. Now there is a PC, for example, PC 40 person who is using PC 40. that user is not there, is leave for today. So PC is available, his PC is down, but other species available. So you try to log in. So you put a user 25 and try to put a password. You can't get authenticated. You should know user 40, that users, the PC users username and password. So to log in, but you don't know username and password. At least you don't know password. If you are trying to get the password, that is also illegal. You should not use like that. Or admin should come and add a account like that. Okay. So you cannot able to access other PCs. If your PC is available, not available, you can't jump like that. Next, every user, their profile data also stores in the local computer only. Their profile data also stores in local computer only. And important other points I will tell. For example, you know what is my computer background? Like this, it's a plain background. Are there? So entire data is corrupted or what? Okay, so some people put a different backgrounds, right? So system backgrounds, they wantedly change it. You know, when we are taking classes, direct classes like offline classes, um, here there in our office. If girl is sitting in a at the desktop, what she will do? Putting a flowers. The desktop background is flowers or maybe puppies, okay, or cats, like that. You boys are sitting in computer, so Avengers, whatever the cars or maybe Joker. So these kind of stuff in a desktop background. So people are keep on changing their own background now. I want to put a policy. I want to put a policy that user should not change their background. Always follow same background only. So what I will tell, I go to C1. Understand? I want to create a setting. I want to enforce a setting, uh, and each PC background setting must not be changed. Yeah, tell me. Guys, asking question or discussion. Okay, something. Okay, no problem. Okay, here it is. So I have to go to C1. I made a settings here, right? Again, I have to go to C2. I have to put a settings. For example, I'm a desktop support engineer or a system engineer. So there must be a setting in all the PCs. So I have to go to each and every PC and tell this is a setting. Every PC I have to go to the and I have to make a setting in that PCs. Okay, like for example, I have a 10 pieces, so each 10 pieces, each piece I have to go and put a setting. Okay, no problem. I have a 50 pieces, each piece I have to go and put a that desktop setting. I have 100 pieces, 200 pieces, 500 pieces, 1000 pieces, 2000 pieces. What happen if number of devices increases? It's very difficult, right? So that's the one. For example, I have a printer. I have a printer. Now I want to inform everyone that I have a printer. This is the printer setting. How to access the printer? We can't teach everybody. We can't give all the details like this is the IP address of printer. This is username, password, how to connect it. We can't teach everyone. You have to go. You are administrator. You have to go. I have a 10 PCs. I will go. I go to the 10 PCs and I will tell how to access the printer. Or I set up that one. Printer setup is done. 10 PCs. Okay. So almost like it will take 1 or 2 hours. Done 10 PCs. And now think I have 100 PCs, 200 PCs, 500 PCs, or 1000 PCs, 2000 PCs. I have to go to each and every PC. I have to apply printer setup. How to do a printer setup for each and every PC. Okay, means printer IP address, username, password, authentication. I have to give. How to configure in every PC. How much burden on administrator? Think compared to 10 PCs to 100 PCs, burden is huge, right? So like this. Next, so user for forget his password like that. That day is something sometimes in a particular day issues will occur, right? So that day what happened? User for he forget his password. What to do? Admin has to go there, or password is not accepting as he given user for giving a password, but password is not accepting, and he has to verify lot of things. So otherwise he has to crack into the PC and a lot of big troubleshooting he has to do it. Because normal desktop, if you forget the password, where is the password store? Inside a system only. Directly we cannot try. Admin has to log in with admin rights and then change the user passwords. Okay, like that we have to do it. Now I have 1,000 PCs. That day what happened? There is a 50 complaints. 50 users are unable to log into PCs because of the password is wrong. Now what I have to do? I have to go to 50 PCs one by one, log in as admin, change the password, and try to log in with the user password and hand over the system to user. 50 times I have to do same thing. Okay, and I have to go to 50 PCs. PC may be in the same floor or maybe a different floor or maybe different area. While I'm working in previous organization, some of my students working in a Hyderabad airport. So one place to another place, so they have to travel. So there, here is a one system is problem. There another system is problem. They from here to there they have to travel. So that is also a burden, right? So a system admin burden is there. Sometimes hardware repair, no problem. Okay, compulsory. A person has to go. But password forgetting, user settings, access permissions, everything you cannot go to each and every PC. That too, if more PCs are available, are there, more issues are there, more PCs, more issues, then it is very difficult to deal with it. But what is the advantage of work group? Work group, each individual PC, so that PC is not controlled by any other PC or any by one, and also it is not access the resources directly from the PC. It has to access manually how to configure everything. Automatically configurations we cannot apply for a bunch of computers at a time. Okay, so manually one by one we have to configure it. So this is about your work group. Okay, what happened here? Next one is a domain. What is a domain? Okay, domain is centralized administration. Okay, domain has a server called a domain controller. Domain, to create a domain, we have a domain controller and we store the data in the domain controller, means centralized only. And domain, one of the definition is logical administrative boundary, logical administrative boundary of users and computers. What is this logical administrative boundary? A logical administrative boundary, actually, say A, not the. Okay. Domain is a centralized administration. It's a logical administrative boundary of users and computers. We use a domain controller as a server to provide a services. And other things also we will discuss. What is the advantage of using a domain in a large enterprises? For example, I have a server now. Space is there, so I will go to new. This is my domain controller server, and all our PCs are there available. Guys, lot of terminologies are there. You have to slowly learn and you have to remember each and every terminology. Okay, then only you'll understand everything. If you have a doubt or if you want to explain it again, I can also explain. Okay, so this is my server. So this is a domain controller. So this domain controller maintain a database. This domain controller has a database. Okay, in this database, it store user information, computer informations. Okay, user information, computer information, groups, group related information. Okay, like that. It store the data inside of resources information. Exactly say resource means local resources information means printer scanner comes under local resources like that. Okay, so what is this database and user and all? So we'll see again computer name C1, C2, C3, C4. I'll put one more PC. The place is there, right? It is also in a same network. C5 PC. Okay. Now in my PC in the database name is ntds.dit. Okay, name of the database is ntds.dit, the database name. Okay, so here what is the data? What is the data? User information. For example, I creating a users here: user 1, user 2, user 3, user 4, user 5, user 6, like that. I created a some user database. Okay. Like I created a user database, and also I will add these computers to my domain. So in my database, my computers information also I store like this. I added a C1, C2, C3 computers into my domain. So my domain has a database, right? In the database C1, C2, C3, C4 information is stored. Okay. After adding only, not before. After adding these PCs to the domain, so automatically in a domain database C1, C2, C3, C4 information is stored. Of course, if you have a group 1, group 2, like a group 3, uh, printers, scanners, other service accounts, you can store in a domain database. Okay, so what will happen here? User 1, now in this situation, user 1 is trying to log into C1. User 1 is trying to log into C1. What happens? May I created a user 1 in C1? I didn't told I created, right? Earlier example I told I created a user one in C1. But here I created a user one in my server. In the domain database, I created a user one and I given a password there only. So where is user one information stored? Where is user one information is stored? User one information is stored in here only. User one's information is stored in a database only. So what will happen here? C1 don't have any information regarding user one. So what it will do? It send a request to the server. It send a request to the server. Verify user account. Verify the user account user one and their password. Verify the user one and the password. So once your domain controller verified user one and its password, then um, then again server will give you permission to access C1 computer. So you can log in with the user one. Now today work is completed. Today work is completed. Tomorrow you came to the office. What happened? So because of certain reason, you want to log in a C2. Today you log in C1. Tomorrow you want to log in into C2. Inside a C2, U1 information is there? No. But you put a U1 and a password here in a C2. The request is going to database, verify U2 and their password in the domain controller. Once it is correct, so it will give you authentication. Okay, you are authenticated user. Now you can able to access C2 PC. Okay, like that we can able to log in. For example, U2 login here, U3 login here. Okay, like this. Guys, understand or not at all understand? Understood? Understand what are it is? Think database stored in server. In database only we are creating users. When you add your client to domain, it means the client PC information is also stored in domain database. Okay. Now, whenever the user is led to log in, the authentication will be sent to domain controller. Domain controller will authenticate your user. So, centralized authentication means the central server will authenticate users, computers, groups, and other resources for access or authentication purpose, right? So we'll go with the lower one, means only single example. Whenever the user is trying to log in, so the request is sent to server. Server verify users passwords, username and password, and authenticate the user so that user can able to access the computer. Okay, so this is it. Yeah, tell me now. Doubts, questions, understood or not understood?
Understood, sir.
Understood. Then I will ask questions. Okay, I'm trying to log in user 5 in a C5. Look at carefully. I want to log into user 5. I have a user 5 here. Yes. So I'm trying to log in with user 5 in C5, and it I am not unable to log in. It is not authenticating my user 5 in C5. Why? Why?
It has to verify first.
Yeah, it is not even verifying. Who is verify? Server, right? Server will verify username and
Yeah.
password. Yeah, tell me,
Yes, sir.
right? And I put a username and password in C5. C5. Look at the picture. C5. I put
Sir,
it.
C5 is not saved in database.
Very good. That's the point. That is what server it is. Completed class. Correct one. Okay, it is not there in the database. If it is there in the database, then it is in domain. If not in the database, it is not in a our domain. Logically not in the domain. Physically it is connected, but logically it is not in the domain. Very good. That's the point. If you understand that point, means you understand. This is a logical administrative boundary of users and computers. Of course, other things also there, but logically administrative boundary of users and computers. It means in this boundary, it means who are the member of my domain. So either computers, users, groups, who are the member of my domain. So they will authenticated. If you are trying to log in into the outside of my domain, means work group PC or maybe other domain, so we won't get authentication here. Okay, for example, C5 is a work group. Okay, and I try to log in with a domain user, it won't understand, it don't have a account information in the PC. Okay, so very good. So point again, domain controller maintain a database of users, groups, computers, okay, and other resources like a printer, scanner, like that, those are also resources. Okay, domain controller store information of user, computer, groups, and um, other resources. Okay, now, and domain controller also authenticate users. When you log into the PC, you log into anywhere in the network, means either you log into server, you log into client. So depends upon, whenever you try to log in, who is authenticating? Server is authenticating you. In work group, the PC will authenticate you. Here, the central server is authenticating. It store the data, it authenticate users. It will verify the user account, it will authenticate the user, and it will give you authorization, means access permissions. Like you want to access a PC, log into inside a PC. Authentication means verification of user and name and password. Authorization, accessing permissions. You want to access a printer, want to access a PC, you want to access a storage. That is called a authorization. So it do authentication and authorization. So this is the whole concept of domain, and of course Active Directory also. To do this thing in Microsoft Windows, we use Active Directory. Earlier name is a different part name is there. From 2003 onwards, we call it as a Active Directory. From 2008 onwards, we are calling this one as a Active Directory Domain Services. Up 2003, we call this kind of stuff database and authentication services, we call that one as a Active Directory. 2008 onwards, because different Active Directory services also came up, that's why we call Active Directory domain services. Okay, we call it as a Active Directory domain services. What is Active Directory? The question is, either they ask people what is Active Directory, or what is Active Directory Domain Services, what is AD, what is AD, what is ADDS, any question. So I will put a questions again. Very good, very good. Okay, so what is AD, or Active Directory, or ADDS, or Active Directory Domain Service, any question. This is supposed to be R. AD means Active Directory. Instead of typing two times, I type like that, otherwise I will type again. Active Directory domain services. Any question is same only. Thing is, when we use Windows 20, that time they use a database is different. That time database is um, SAM account. SAM database. The database name is SAM database. SAM database. And authentication. That time they are using NTLM. Okay, NTLM, as I remember, so many days or LAN manager something is a new technology LAN manager. NTLM something is their authentication. I didn't remember exactly. But in Windows 2000 onwards, 2000 and 2003, so the service authentication service and all we call it as a Active Directory. Okay, so people call this one as a Active Directory. Of course, the database name earlier it is just a centralized authentication SAM. Okay. That time is first time, but later on days it is changed. NTDS dot DAT. This is a database name. Okay. They started using uh, authentication protocols. Authentication protocol in Windows Server Active Directory. Windows Server Active Directory authentication protocol is KRBROS. Kerberos. So they use Kerberos authentication protocol. Kerberos is nothing but a authentication protocol. Port number 88. Port number is 88. Of course, in Windows we use another authentication protocol called LDAP. Port number P89. Okay. So Windows from onwards Active Directory is there. Of course, in Windows 2008 onwards they call this one as a the service we call it as a ADDS. So in 2003, Active Directory, the service we call it as the Active Directory. From 2008 onwards, Active Directory domain services. The database name is ntds.dat that time and this time, and authentication protocol are like this. The Kerberos the authentication protocol here we use a Kerberos. What is Kerberos? Authentication protocol. What is Kerberos?
Authentication protocol.
Kerberos means dog, like this. Three-headed dog. If you see first part Harry Potter, that there is a dog, so that is the dog name is Kerberos. So that's why they put a name after this an authentication protocol. It works based on a ticketing system is there. If I have a chance, then I will explain the ticketing system. Okay, so port number 88 authentication protocol. So whenever you see KRBR or KVR, KRBR or a KBR like this, it means it's a Kerberos. So look it properly, then you will understand whether it is Kerberos or not also. So KRBR or KBR like that. So that is authentication protocol services names are there. So what is a domain? A logical administrative boundary of users and computers. First one, do centralized authentication. So what is authentication spelling? ENTICAON. Okay. Centralized authentication it will do. Okay. So it will verify users and names thing, and it will do authorization. Okay, it will provide authentication, authorization. It store the user information and thing. Okay, so it is a actually domain means this is a enough. Okay, domain means centralized authentication, centralized administration. Okay, like that. Next, already I told. For example, I have a printer in the network. I have a printer. Okay, for example, here I have a printer. This is a printer is connected to a network. Now all these pieces should be configured, right? So what I will do, I'll create a group policy. I will create a group policy, and in the group policy I will mention about the printer, and I will distribute this printer setting to everyone. Everyone. Understand? For example, I have 100 PCs. For each 100 pieces, I can't go to 100 PCs to configure about a printer setting, right? In a domain only, I will create a printer. Okay, so in domain only, I will tell, I will create a policy, group policy, and there I will mention about the printer. And through group policy, I will distribute that information to everyone. So all the pieces will get configured with printer information. So that is called a group policy. Like that, desktop settings, network settings, firewall settings. So instead of doing individual pieces, I will distribute the service through network from the central PC. How it is possible? Because of user information, computer information stored in Active Directory. So when you enforce a setting to the PCs, so based on the PC or user, the setting will be go to that one. So you want to deploy application also, you can able to deploy application to the PCs using group policies. Okay, so like this, not only this, lot of other things also available, but up to now this is the part of your domain Active Directory domain, and as well as Active Directory. Other things also there, but we'll see that one. So what happened? This my mine is closed directly. The that PPT is very good, important PPT also. Already I told, if any question came somewhere, I've written here. It is I've written. Okay, so any question like a Active Directory, ADDS, like this. Okay, so what is an Active Directory? Okay, so AD or ADDS, or you can say ADDS means Active Directory Domain Services. Active Directory Domain Services or Active Directory, it means store user in Active Directory in an Active Directory database. Store information of identity, user identity, computer, group, groups information, and other resources, service information, and other resources. Okay, this is Active Directory database. You can look at that PPT there. You can find it. And what is this Active Directory domain services? It stores the information of users or user identity, anything you can tell of a users, computers, groups, service, and other resources like that. Users instead of identity, it is better. I have to type, put it like this. Okay, this make more simpler. Okay, next one is also Active Directory do few things. Active Directory Active Directory provide authentication services. Authentication when user login to network. It means user is logging to computer, or a user is trying to access a printer, or a user is trying to access a shared folder, remote desktop. So for every time, Active Directory authenticate a user and also provide a authorization of user. So Active Directory do authentication and authorization. Okay, when user log into network. And already I given this important point. Authentication protocol is a Kerberos port number 88. This is about your Active Directory. Now we are going to do some practical. What it is? I want to create a domain. A domain. Okay, I want to create a domain. So domain infrastructure, right? So what is this domain? How it is? We'll discuss in a after this one. Okay. So what I told about here, it is mostly I will discuss about domain only. Okay, it's a logical administrative boundary of users and computers. Centralized authenticate. It provides a centralized authentication. Okay, and authorization. So this is you can remove authorization. Okay, any questions regarding Active Directory, ADDS? Same only. So different times, different names that are using. So don't worry about this one. But Active Directory use authentication protocol Kerberos. What is Active Directory? Active Directory database store information of users. Active Directory is is a directory service. Actually, say Active Directory is a directory service. To provide a directory service means a directory contains files, like that directory contains information. In Active Directory database store information of user groups, computers, and other resources. And whenever the user login, so it will do authentication. Not only user authentication, computer authentication, everything will be there. Okay. Next, I'm missing some point. That's why I'm searching. Yeah. Here I put a ntds dot dat is a database I told, right? What is the abbreviation? Okay. New technology new technology directory service dot directory information tree. Okay. This is ntds.dat. What is ntds.dat? New technology directory service directory information tree. Authentication protocol Kerberos. I think Any point I'm missing? That's it. That's enough. So we are going to create a domain. Domain means a logical administrative group boundary of users and computers. Okay. To create a domain, first we need a name and a address. Okay. So I will explain this name and address kind of stuff when comparing with the enterprises, and also there is a some more explanation is there. More things are there to explain, including Active Directory also having so much of theory is there. But I'm not going to that much. I'm going to normal plane only. But based on our practical and understanding levels only. Abbreviations are very important in a servers. Why? Because of in interview may not ask about your practical part, but they definitely ask abbreviations like what is this, what is that one, what is meaning of this one, like that. Okay. So I'm stopping at here.